Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to an all new episode of The In Between. I'm your host, Elizabeth Cheney, and it's been a little bit of time since we last talked. I am just here to say, well, it's summer. Summer vacation, school's out. And also, it is my podcast, and sometimes you do what you gotta do. But mostly because last week was a holiday week, this episode was a little delayed in getting out just because your girl has a lot going on right now, if you can't tell by the bags under my eyes. A little concerned that they're not going away, even though I am trying to sleep more, but I'm not quite sleeping, and all. But that's okay. Like, we're going to get better at that. Nothing that a good guasha, however the hell you say that thing, it's like the smooth stone. Nothing like a little guashing can, get the wrinkles out. That's what I tell myself anyway. Botox alternatives. Nothing against Botox. Just never had it myself. Mostly because it overwhelms the hell out of me. When I hear people talk about Botox, they're like, oh yeah, my units, my blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't know. The way they talk about it seems like a different code, a different language. So yeah, not necessarily against it. Just not sure if I need it quite yet, but mostly due to intimidation. But cheers to live, laugh, loving your way through life. And I don't know, in the capacity in which you like it. Sorry, I haven't had my morning coffee quite yet, so I'm a little tongue-tied, if you know what I mean. But anyways, let's get into it. Where have we been? What's been going on? So I feel like I've been vague, and probably not to you guys, but in my head, I feel like I've been vague the past several months about some things that I'm working on, some things that I'm holding out for, manifesting, good juju. I can't quite talk about all of it yet, but all I want to say is I feel very close. So I just need you to put some good juju, some good vibes out there for your girl. And hopefully in the next episode or two, probably two, I will have some really exciting updates for you all. Because I know you're all just foaming at the mouth waiting for updates for Liz. What's going on with her life? So I'm very excited about that. But that's part of what all of the crazy hustle and bustle and all of that's been going on. That's been taking away from my mental focus a little bit. But really, really exciting things. On top of other exciting things, besides the fact that my nails look so cute. Look at these. See, aren't they cute? Yeah. I got my nails done yesterday with my mom, and I actually found this design like on a Temu ad. Never shopped at Temu, whatever. No hate, no shade. Just try not to do the whole fast fashion, well, it's not all fashion, but fast whatever the hell. Fast tchotchkes as they are. But it was like these like really cheap press-on nails. And I was like, these are really cute. Mo's my chick who does my nails. And she was like, I can do that. I can do it better. And so she did. And oh my gosh, I can't stop staring at them. They're so fun. It's like a mix of like 90s, 80s, and early 2000s in my opinion. But I digress. For those listening, you're like, I can't see them, so I have no context to what you're talking about. Just trust me. Just trust that your girl has really cute nails at the moment, because like that's the most important thing going on in the world. Cute nails. Yeah. But in other news, my mom's birthday is this weekend, so that's exciting. We are going to a cabin weekend away. It was just going to be me. I think I talked about this before. If not, well, here's the news. So I was going to have like a little cabin weekend secluded where I could just go incubate and work on podcast stuff, work on other things for my career, for my Elizabeth Cheney-ness, if you know what I mean. My whole idea of making money for myself. Well, what I mean, like making money for me by me. Like not me working for a company making money, which of course I do that, but I'm talking about me, entrepreneur me. God, I don't know why I couldn't use that word earlier. We get there. We eventually get there when I get stuck on my words. But anyways, I'm really excited because I'm going to build out like a public speaking pitch deck, so to speak, so I can try to pitch myself to networking groups and things, trying to get myself out there and network and maybe make a little bit of money, build out my podcast course line, because I am still planning to launch that by the end of the year. Fingers crossed. I think I can do it. I know I can do it. Let's change that inner narrative. And then we're just working on other podcast stuff, getting ready for our New York trip together. I'm going to actually try to record while I'm in New York and rent space at a really cool studio and try to book a guest. We're going to see where she gets. I'll tell you a fun fact. I was talking to somebody who owns a podcast network. I'm a little small fry for her network, but that's okay. It's cool to have a contact like that. Hello, manifest that shit. But anyways, she was like, let me give you some advice. Like, she took like 25 minutes out of her day, really, really busy chick, to just kind of like talk to me. And not so much about growth, because the thing about podcasting is it's really hard to grow. Like, a lot of the big podcasts, I would say most of the big podcasts that you see, podcasting is not their main shtick. You know what I mean? They either have a network, they have a product, they have music, they're a movie star, they're a reality star, something along that nature. Like, they have other things that contribute to their awareness and influentialness. I love just making up words. Anyways, her advice to me was, while you're in New York, why don't you try to book a space at this studio? It's called WTF Studios. It's really popular up in New York, especially when out-of-town guests come in for the big networks up there. And she was like, and you should try to like book a guest that's maybe a bit bigger than you, but not so big that it's like out of reach. One of the names she suggested, I've tried to say that now 3 times. One of the names she suggested was Hannah Berner. For those who don't know Hannah Berner, she has her own podcast with a hosting page called The Giggly Squad. I think she was also on Below Deck, but she's also a up-and-coming comedian. Love me some Hannah Berner. When she said Hannah Berner, the first thought in my head was, you think I could try and book Hannah Berner? Not that me and Hannah Berner could not vibe, okay? But I'm like, Hannah Berner, do you want to come on the In Between podcast? Also, totally forgot, because I listened to the podcast and I remember them talking about it, but Hannah Berner literally just dropped her Netflix comedy special, and something tells me she doesn't have time for this small fry. Hannah Berner, between your Netflix specials and, you know, you being on Call Her Daddy, do you want to come by the In Between? We don't have a huge user base quite yet, but we are full of fun, love, and just self-acceptance. That's my pitch. And I'll just put like a little gif of me going, I'm sure she'd be like, block. Hopefully I never see that psychopath again. All jokes aside, who knows? I'll shoot my shot. What's the worst that's going to happen? I get ignored. That's probably the most likely outcome, so I'm ready for it. But that is what I'm trying to do. So if you have any suggestions on maybe semi-attainable New York City guests that could really benefit your girl and like engage a wonderful conversation, let me know. I'm also planning to hopefully hook up with some of the podcast people that I've had on the podcast, and I've been on their podcasts that are based in New York. So just really exciting. So this weekend is basically me kind of getting my whole plan for the rest of the year together. My mom is coming because, well, love my mom, and she's like one of my best friends, right? But Cindy is a great researcher, and I'm like, Mom, do you want to come be my personal assistant for the weekend? I'll take care of you, I'll feed you, I'll pay for everything. Like, let's go. So that is why she's coming. She's gonna sleep and then take care of me. Take care of research on what I tell her to research. So we love a solid mom who, not even just a mom, a solid parent, a solid role model, solid adult figure who supports, better yet, uplifts, better yet, contributes. So that's exciting. That's exciting. Let's see what else is going on. I still haven't finished Bridgerton. I don't know if that's like a response to how this season really was. I don't know. I wasn't into it. I really wasn't into it. Nothing against Penelope. I love what's her name? Nicola. I think she's a great actress. I think she's so pretty. I think she's so cute. She seems cool. I'm just not into the show. I don't know why. I was like, part of it's Eloise, but that's definitely not the whole reason. But it's just like a accumulation of a bunch of little things. But I really hate how they've made Eloise just kind of insufferable this season. She's such a brat. But anyways, I digress. I will eventually finish it, just not necessarily feeling it, if you know what I mean. But that's okay. There's lots of music out right now. You know, I'm not much of a music girly. Well, I think I've said this before, but of course I like music, but I am not someone who's like up to date on the music. Like, oh, I hear every new album. Oh my God, I love blah, blah, blah. The people who do that, y'all are so cool. Honestly, that's how I learn about music. When the people of the internet are talking about certain albums, certain artists, certain songs, that's typically when I pick something up because I'm like, oh, what's all this chatter about it? So with that said, I've realized like I'm a big nostalgia person. It's like what I'm used to, what I know. So I'm always listening to like 2000s pop and hip hop. I'm listening to like 90s pop music, 80s rock music. I'm just not really listening to new stuff. However, I mentioned this on the last episode, the sexuality episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one, which, side note, shout out to Disability Pride Month in July. Woohoo. But I'm obsessed with Chappell Roan at the moment. I think that's like going to be a forever long fixation, but can't stop, won't stop Chappell Roan. Literally have her music on replay nonstop during the day. But Charli XCX, she dropped an album called Brat. Everyone's talking about it. So I started listening to it, and you know, it's a vibe. It's very upbeat. It's very just going with it. It's going with it. That sounded so weird and lame. It's a vibe. Okay, it's like a Brat summer. We're here for it. A lot of the songs are catchy. They're just bebop songs. It's the fun to listen to while you're walking, while you're driving around, windows down. But the thing about her album that I see a lot of commentary around is like, it's our Brat summer. And I'm into that. I'm into my Brat summer. I am into saying no. I am into exerting boundaries. And you know, it sounds confrontational. It sounds like maybe a little negative, but it doesn't need to be. Boundaries should be as beautiful and welcoming as like a hug, as love, as friendship, as self-acceptance. Boundaries are so important, and boundaries matter in every aspect of your life, your work life, your personal life, your family life. Like boundaries, you need to enforce boundaries at the damn grocery store. You need to enforce boundaries in traffic. Protect your peace. Boundaries are about protecting your peace, and we don't always get them right, but that's okay. We just keep trying until, boom, we don't feel dysregulated when we say no. We don't feel shame or guilt when we say no because we're not people pleasing. And once you kind of get over that threshold, it's amazing how you can look back on some of the things that you got anxious about or uncomfortable by or overthought, and you're like, oh my God, like I was giving way too much of myself that situation, and the person involved was out of line. So it's a very like vague example, and I'm not pinpointing anything in particular. I'm just saying, work on it. Boundaries aren't uncomfortable if you've never ever enforced them or like done anything about them, but they will protect your peace, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. So remember, we got one life. I think it was a few weeks ago I did the Existential Musings episode. Just go back and listen to that one, and this whole message will make more sense, if you know what I mean. But back to music, because your girl's on a music train. So Brat Summer. Kesha dropped a new song. I actually really like it. It kind of gives me like OG Kesha vibes, so I'm here for that. And it was independently produced by her. So shouts for Kesha. Katy Perry has a new album that drops this week, I believe. Very nervous about that one. Fun fact, I used to be a humongous Katy Perry stan. I Kissed a Girl, that was a great album, but California Dreams or California Girls, oh my gosh. Best pop album of the 2010s. Well, I mean, Lady Gaga was pretty spot on, but Katy Perry's California Girls, that was an amazing album, and I am shocked that she didn't get any kind of Grammys for it. But regardless, true pop, loved it. Every album after that was a bomb. She got weird, she got, I don't know, like she went feminist, which I would normally like, but the songs were weird and just not vibey and not upbeat, and an upbeat that I don't even necessarily mean positive, just like it was weird beats, it was weird songs, there was no levels to them. I don't know. Didn't even listen to the Smile album, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. So this new album, which it's been a couple years since the last album came out, she teased the song, and the tease was absolutely boring. Everyone was roasting her on TikTok. It's like, yo, girl, what the hell is this shit? You're getting stomped by like Chappell Roan out here, Sabrina Carpenter, Charli XCX. I mean, shit, even Taylor Swift's out here just pumping out music like I changed my underwear. It's insane. But Katy Perry then like released like a little bit more of the song, and it kind of had a pop. Like it started giving, it gave me, if I'm going to be honest, not quite California Girls, but like maybe another version of that, like that upbeat, freaking slaptastic pop sound. Okay. So I'm excited about this new album. It gives me hope. But I'm not holding my breath because, like I said, the last 2 albums have been just absolutely unfortunate. But love me some Katy Perry, so I'm here for her to make a comeback. Right. Let's see what else has been going on in my world. Oh, yeah. So a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, Stan and I went to Gulf Shores, Alabama. It was really, really, really nice. I won't lie. I have kind of a stereotypical feeling, observation, tone towards Alabama. I don't mean that as negative as it sounds, but I kind of picture country. I mean, politically, I'm not even going to touch that can of worms, but a little less progressive in terms of urban development. You know, do they, like, I've never been to Birmingham, but is it kind of a city? Is it a big city? Probably not. Anyways, I grew up going to Alabama all the time because, like, my Nana's family's from Alabama, and I just remember the roads being shit, and it just being lots of country, right? A lot of old infrastructure, and that's okay because it's an old southern state. So I did not expect Gulf Shores to remind me of like the 30A of Florida, like Destin and things like that. It was so nice. It was so beautiful. It was not like Panama City. They're building so many different things down there. Me and Stan looked at a damn house, okay? I mean, part of that was like my friend who we were staying with, my girl, shout out to Ashley. She's a realtor, so she was like, I can get you in. But like, you can get so much home, like on the beach or near the beach for very affordable prices when you think most beach homes are like $1.2 million. And granted, maybe it's not like right on the beach, but it's like 2 roads away. It's still within their little golf cart community. So you can just bebop on your golf cart to the beach. So I will be honest. I am a little, not sure. I don't want to say, of course, we're not moving to Gulf Shores, but there is like this 20% part of me that's like, damn, we could actually make this happen. This is actually affordable. And that's why I can't completely say no, because what a dream, right? Who doesn't want to live near the beach? Well, I shouldn't say that because like, as of like, I would say 6 months ago, I would have never lived at the beach full time, but here I am. I don't know what's happening. They say your taste buds change. I feel like my feelings towards the weather are changing. Maybe I'm just like accepting the fact that it's so mother effing hot and I just can't get around that. And my husband will not move out of Georgia. So I just have to learn to coexist with the humidity and the heat. But I didn't hate it. I survived. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just staying more hydrated. So that makes the suffering a little bit better. If you know what I mean? But we had a lot of fun while we were down there. I also recorded an episode with Ashley. I'm going to save the discussion topics and points, and I'm also going to kind of save like what she's about and who she is and all of that. But she is an incredible person, truly unique, has one of the most interesting, unique perspectives from somebody I've ever met. There's a reason for that, and she shares that. And y'all, I'm so excited for this episode. I'm not sure if it's going to come out next week or the week after, but I can't wait for y'all to listen. It's absolutely beautiful. And, I don't know. I get a little emotional. She gets a little emotional, but I promise it's not weird. It's beautiful. It's healing. It's about loving yourself. Yes, but stepping into your energy and your power, especially after, maybe a season of defeat in a way. And then at the end, we do a grounding exercise because she's really, really good about that. So yeah, I can't wait. I think you guys are going to love it. I love her. It's so special, so beautiful. And yeah, I just can't wait to share that with the world. She also had me do 2 workouts while I was there. 1 HIIT, 1 yoga, hot yoga. HIIT workout was great. I enjoyed it. Nothing like going on vacation and working out. It's actually kind of badass if I'm going to be honest with you. But the hot yoga class, holy shit balls. Have y'all ever done hot yoga? It is hot. I was drenched. Like I was watching water just pour out of my shin, pour out off my arms. I'm just like, oh, okay. I am soaking wet. There was a pool underneath me. Also, this class is so hella full. I can barely move. And it's not like I'm good at yoga necessarily. And then I have the wingspan of a motherfucking like biplane. So I'm trying to like be very mindful of the people next to me. And I just know that my shoulders and elbows is going to knock somebody out. So we're doing all these crazy moves. I'm trying to stagger. And then I'm slipping and sliding all over the damn mat. Because remember, like I said, it's a pool of water. Everyone's got towels. We kind of got there a little bit late. So like, I didn't know what to grab. I'm clueless. I don't know. Maybe I should speak up a little bit more. I just kind of roll with it a little too easily. So there I am, slipping and sliding, which that makes you exert more muscle control, more trying to hold your core in so you don't freaking fall and kill yourself, break your neck. I would say 3/4 of the way through this hot yoga, the gentleman next to me, he was a much older gentleman, because I'm sure there are a lot of retirees, type of people that live down there, the snowbirds, if you will. And he's sweating, but he's got a towel, so at least his slip and slide can get dried up a little bit quicker. Like I said, 3/4 of the way through, he goes, I'm sorry, ma'am, I took your towel. Here's my towel. I didn't use this one because I took yours. And I look at him, and his wife's like, so sorry. And I'm like processing what happened. So then I'm like, oh, wait. So the instructor must have like left towels in front of everyone's place, blocks. So all these resources right in front of me were not the people next to me. It's like they were mine. So I could have like not been suffering so long. And I look at him, and I take the towel, and I'm like, thank you. And I'm just thinking, like, you've been watching me suffer this whole class. Because, like, I was struggling because there was so much sweat. There was so much sweat. I was sliding. I was, like, grunting. I was, like, trying to catch myself because I slip and, like, lose my balance or something. And I'm like, you didn't think to give it to me then? Because he was embarrassed. I'm like, I don't care, buddy. I would have taken the half wet of your sweat towel at that point. Okay, I'm just kidding. That's fucking disgusting that I say that out loud. But you catch my drift. It was a thing. So if you go to hot yoga, you bet your ass you better grab a towel or 4. I would grab 4. I would grab 4 towels because it was wet. Was it enjoyable? I'll be honest with you. I don't think I really got the full effect because of everything I just said. Not being able to fully do the move, having no idea what I was doing also in the process, sweating so much I thought I was going to slip and die. So yeah. Would I try it again? Sure, I'll try anything. Look, I've been trying tomatoes for the past 10 years, trying to make my taste buds like them, and your girl finally freaking did it. So if that can happen, I'm open to anything. Yes, tomatoes are my baseline. But the last thing I wanted to kind of talk about, which is like maybe the theme of this episode, but theme, topic, subject, whatever. So another thing that's been going on that I've been vague about is a little bit of health stuff. I'm going to like tell this story in like a little bit of a weird order. Let's just take it back real quick to 2020. This is the too long didn't read version. I had my bachelorette. It was a COVID bachelorette, so we were not doing much, okay? We were hanging out in a cabin in the woods, like in the mountains, mountains, whatever, Tennessee. It was supposed to be in Miami with like a yacht boat ride and all this fun shit. So, it was a hard pivot, if you will, but all my favorite people were there, and that was truly the main thing that I cared about for my batch. Sure, I wanted like the stereotypical batch experience, but I wanted my people there. And we still had a fuck ton of fun, trust me. So much fun. That's where this story takes us. So the one like activity thing that we did was we rented a party bus because again, even though it was Tennessee, our options were still very limited because it was like prime COVID. So we're riding around in this party bus. There's like 14, 15 of us. We are all extremely drunk, having the time of our lives. Literally, I'm like a monkey on the like bars on the ceiling, jumping around, kicking, just dancing, having the time of my life. Well, at this point in my life, this was like during, my mental health disaster season. And of course, at this point, I was very much not aware of my mental state, but I was having a good time. I started to kind of work out, so I was starting to lose a little bit of weight, nowhere where I am today, like fitness, mobility, all of that. However, the fact that I just started, having not really done that at all in my life, and the fact that I was intoxicated, and then the fact that it was also my bachelorette, there was a lot of, what's that word? Confidence going on in your girl. So as we're dancing, just getting it, I have this idea, like I'm going to do a Michael Jackson where I like jump into a split and pop up because I can do that. Ask me, Liz, have you ever done a split in your life? No, I haven't. So I have no idea where that justification, that connect the dots came from, but here we are. So I jump on, I'm holding on to like the bars. I do like a little swing, give myself some momentum, the motion of the ocean, if you will, to plop down a split. Well, first things first, I did not pop back up. I'm just going to give you that spoiler alert. 2, I can't do a split. So when I popped into that split, I realized, oh shit, I'm stuck. I can't move. I can't do a split. What am I doing? My guy friend Garrett, who was on the batch, goes, Liz did a split. And I'm like, Liz can't do a split. So he picks me up, like gets me out of the said split because I got a not running, but like moving, jumping start into the split. So of course, gravity brought me down. I woke up the next day, popping, cracking in ways my body has never sounded in my life. So that was then. This is now. 2021, that was a shit year mental health, but like toward the end of it, that's when my shoulder stuff started working out. 2022 was a big year of fitness, working out, getting really not even just like working out, but it's like getting into a healthy physical routine. So I started noticing as I started developing more like fitness abilities, skills, my hip was starting to hurt. And I was thinking like, this has got to be tied somehow to that fucking split I did. Because of course I didn't properly stretch. Who knows how to stretch? I don't freaking know. Like I probably didn't do what I needed to do for the fact that I did a split and physically can't do that. So fast forward like literally a year and a half, 2 years of suffering. I'm like, this is becoming an issue. I can't seem to stretch or get relief from this shit. So I decided to go finally get a referral for an orthopedic and get like an MRI and make sure like there's not some kind of structural damage, because it would be my luck that there would be structural damage. Because again, I want you all to know like my leg was going numb. It just seemed to be getting worse, all that fun shit. So I get an MRI, and thankfully there is nothing wrong with my hip. No structure. It's just some kind of very pulled tight muscle to some capacity, some degree. However, with this MRI, something else popped up that wasn't supposed to be there. So it was kind of one of those classic, you get one for one thing. Oh, guess what? That's fine. But we found something else. So part of the anxiety was the way in which this news was delivered to me. I want you to know that this doctor comes in, doom and motherfucking gloom. And he's like, hey, so have you seen the report yet for your MRI? And I'm like, no, I'm not a doctor. And also I have anxiety, so I'm not going to go read things that I don't have any business reading without like a adult present to explain things to me. And so he goes, well, everything's fine with your hip, but a small mass showed up in your right ovary. And I'm just like, blink, 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 blink. All I heard was mass. And mind you, his whole demeanor was like very much like, you have stage 4 cancer and you better say your goodbyes now. That's how it felt. So I'm like, come again, like, what are you talking about? And he shows me and I'm like, that is a mass. Okay. So he's like, it's probably nothing a big deal, like whatever. And I've never had issues down there, but it's also something that I'm very ignorant about, because women's health, women's anatomy there's so many things that could go wrong, and I choose my battles, and I do not choose to walk down the path of WebMDing women's health issues, because I just feel like I will be in an endless rabbit hole of just scary concepts, and I'll probably never come out of my apartment. So I'm like, okay, thank you. I'm a little bit in shock, and I jokingly say, well, can I still get a PT referral for this hip? So I go home and I'm like, I got to handle this right now. So I go home. It was a Friday. I get an appointment with the OBGYN like the next Friday. They're able to get me in. She's like, look, I'm looking at this report. I think this is probably just a small cyst, but we want to be sure, especially because like you're 33, you want to have kids in the next couple of years. It's probably a good check just to make sure everything's okay. So it's definitely one of those things that once you were made aware that there is something like that in you, you don't want to focus on it. You don't want to think about it, but it's like, present in your mind, the back of your head. You're thinking about it all the time. So I tried really hard to kind of keep my shit together, because she wanted me to come back in a month and a half. So for the past month and a half, I've just been wondering, what the fuck is in Liz's uterus? What's on her ovary? And I didn't really tell too many people. I told some of my friends and they're like, oh, it's probably not a big deal, but it's so scary because like I said just a second ago, it could be 1,000 different things you don't know in women's health. So I just had my follow-up this week, and I can say with good news, your girl is all clear. What was there burst. It must have been a little cyst. There was some fluid still in my ovaries and my uterus, but like it wasn't anything that she was concerned about. They did an extremely thorough ultrasound, and everything looks good there health-wise. She said my follicles, whatever the hell that is. I mean, I kind of have a vague idea. More than a vague, but I'm definitely not going to sit here and try to explain it to y'all on the podcast. I think it's something to do with like your eggs. I don't know, but they look good. So there we go. And I just want to say, pats to me, even though it was kind of creeping in the back of my head, I did not focus on it. I did not like sit with it. you know what I mean? Like I was very mindful of my relationship, so to speak, with this thought and this knowledge. So it's scary. The unknown is scary, but you don't need to worry about it. So the reason I'm telling all the story is, one, I've been holding that. We're good. You're good. Your girl's good. The health scare is no longer scary. And boom, bap, boom, bap, boom. Another reason why I'm saying it is it was a really good exercise for me in how not to worry about the things that we can't control, the things we don't have knowledge over, the things that it's literally we just have to cross that bridge when we get there. And not trying to be dramatic when I say this, but it's like, is it something scary? Is it cancer? Is it something worse? Like, I don't know. Of course, it could have been any of those things, but I had so much going on. I had life to live. I had a month and a half before the freaking follow-up appointment with the ultrasound. So was I just going to sit there for a month and a half and think about this? What state do you think I'd be in when I got there? Although, side note, I will say the reason this episode is late is because I have not slept this week because I think I was low-key very anxious about this appointment. So I needed to rest. So that's why this is, a day or so late. I'm sorry. Don't be mad, but at least it's a good episode. But anyways, this was a good exercise on not worrying about the things I can't control. And with that also came some positive self-talk, because when it would creep in, I would try to combat that thought, that intrusion as quick as possible. Between that and then also the episode that I recorded with Ashley, that's my friend that I just stay with in Gulf Shores, so y'all are going to hear this. We were talking about inner narratives and the things that we tell ourselves. Now, I am sure y'all are not new to affirmations, positive self-talk. I mean, shit, I talk about that shit all the time. But let me ask you a question. Literally, when was the last time you thought to yourself, think the whole thing out, or you even said out loud, I'm proud of me. I'm fucking proud of me. Oh my God, look at all the things I'm doing. I'm crushing it. I work so hard. Let me recognize all the things that I do on the daily, on the weekly, all the things I'm striving towards. Holy shit, let me recognize all the things that I've done. I've been seeing this post. It's been reoccurring in my feed when I'm scrolling. So I can't remember the word for word post, but basically it was saying, don't forget to recognize that you used to dream about where you are today. And my podcast isn't huge yet. I'm not working independently for myself yet, making all the money for myself through my efforts, through my craft, through my entrepreneurship. But there was a time when I was extremely depressed where I dreamed about launching a podcast, where I used to beat myself up because I hadn't launched it yet, that I was a failure. I used to think about having a website and having a whole bunch of personal branding to go with this podcast and to have a following. Sure, it's not huge, but there's almost 500 people who follow me on Instagram. 500 people, and most of them are strangers. That's really cool and really different. Whether they're bots, we're not going to touch that. I'm just kidding. But a theme in the past month and a half as I've been sitting with what's going on with Liz's body, but we're not going to worry or stress about it because I'm in my season of winning. And not even season of winning, but my season of allowing, sitting with what's meant for me is going to find me, and truly sitting with that and not worrying about it, which is so much easier said than done. So with that, and then the episode with Ashley, I've really been mindful of that inner narrative. And I don't just mean working on the negative self-talk and combating that, but that's one part of it. But I mean actually saying positive things about me. I always talk about how I'm juggling all this different shit, and I know it's just a season of busy and this and this and that, and you got to pace yourselves, and you got to make sure you don't tackle on too much that you can handle. But we also need to be telling ourselves how proud we are. I want you to take a beat right now and tell yourself why you're so proud of you right now. I am so proud of me because even though I don't have a huge following on this podcast yet, because I believe in myself enough and I love myself, I do this every week by myself, and that is so impressive. On top of working a job, on top of having a life, my family, my friends, I am doing it all. And by all, I mean for me. Am I actually doing it all? Of course not. I still need to improve on these routines. I still need to, be better about eating healthier and eating more broccoli and drinking more water. But instead of thinking about, I could be better, I'm not quite doing it all quite yet, I'm just it's okay, I'm going to get there because look at all the shit I'm doing now. It's a flip of the narrative, and I'm telling you, oh my God, it actually really works and it really helps. So Don't just think about positive affirmations. Don't just think about journaling in the morning. Don't just think about, getting rid of the negative thought pattern. But I want you at least once a day to say out loud or to think like a complete thought, I am proud of me and this is why, and be specific. Don't just say, okay, you're doing a good job. Yeah, you're doing a good job. Why are you doing a good job? Why are you proud of you? Give yourself the compliment that you want someone else to give you. And that is how you start validating yourself. And that is how you develop and build that self-love. So let's have a great rest of the week. Let's enjoy this hot ass month of July. And let's talk so proudly and positively about ourselves. We are friggin' badass and we're going to tell ourselves that. Maybe I don't have it all together, but damn, I have a lot of it together. And I'm only adding on more and more. You would have told me last year, hey, you're going to build a course. I would have been like, I don't know. What is that? And here I am building out the outline and with a direction and motivation to actually produce it, create it, make some money off of it. Recognize how far you've come, recognize where you're at, and recognize where you're going. Take inventory of how incredible you are. And it doesn't have to be anything epic. I mean, existing is epic. Remember, existing is insane. If you're working on cooking fresher foods, fresher meals, and you're down to 4 meals a week versus like the one you used to only do, that's an accomplishment. Recognize that shit. Hell yeah. Recognize your dreams, goals, the fact that you had them to begin with. That's badass. Recognize them, believe in them, and then you'll actually start working towards them. It is insane. It is beautiful. It is crazy how our thoughts connect to our actual outcomes and what we do. And it's also what we attract. So let's be positive, let's love ourselves, and let's remind ourselves how amazing we are. Okay? Okay. But on that note, your girl's got to go to work. Like I said, hopefully in 2 weeks, we'll have some more updates about the podcast and just what's going on in my life. Yeah. And I'm really excited for all the things going. So, anywho, I say all this to just remind you that your girl still falters. I mean, shit. This past weekend, I had a few moments of self-doubt and I just had to snap out of it. I talked to Stan, have your person that can help build you up, whether it's your partner, your family, your friend. Hell, message me on Instagram. I'll take care of you. And we'll get there. We'll get there because we only get one shot at this life. At least this body, this vessel of this life. Like, why not live it to our fullest, live it to our best? Because I just don't want us to suffer because life is going to have us suffer no matter what. So there you go. But on that note, if you're new here, welcome. Please go follow me on Instagram at @in.betweenpod and at @elizabethcheney_. One's the podcast, one's my personal. Keep up with both because it's different types of content. And you can follow me on TikTok and YouTube at the In Between Podcast. And also, please don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, follow wherever you listen to your podcasts. I really do want to try and grow the reviews, ratings, things like that, because that is how you get visibility, and that is important. Aha! So that's exciting. And, please share this with a friend, a sibling, a family member, a coworker. Hell, share it with your local grocery store cashier. I'm sure they could use some positive fun, some positive entertainment, and help your girl grow. Because if I grow, more exciting things can happen. Okay, so I'm going to let you go. Can't wait to see you next week. And let's live our best lives. I'll talk to you guys. I'm Elizabeth. Bye.